Oh, the Lord is good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun and the rain and the apple seed. The Lord is good to me. Hey you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the north, more specifically Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I am in front of the grave of John Chapman, better known as Johnny Appleseed, one of the most endearing folk legends in American history. Now everyone kind of has a vision of what Johnny Appleseed was like. He traveled the country, he sprinkled apple seeds, and he wore a pot on his head for some reason. A lot of like the imagery and things that we know and believe about Johnny Appleseed are actually fairly accurate. He was a real person. I think some people may not even realize that he's an actual real person, but because his legend has grown so large, it's kind of this, I think that the vision of someone who's just truly free, who's just roaming the earth, planting apples and living off the land. I think that's a very romantic ideal. So yeah, Johnny Appleseed, born 1774, died in 1845. Like I said, his real name was John Chapman, and he did travel around the Midwest planting apple seeds. It's a little different reason than you may think. He kind of, how it worked was there was a lot of unsettled land and you could claim it because it didn't belong to anyone. So one of his strategies was that he would plant a certain number of apple trees, and that would like establish that you're using the land, so then he could later own that land and he would actually sell it for profit. He did most of what he did as his job. He did it to keep alive, and apparently he was a very, very kind man. He wasn't a shyster or anything. He often forgave debts. And another misconception about Johnny Appleseed is that his apples were used for eating. They weren't. They were used for making liquor or hard cider. Back when Johnny Appleseed's heyday, they would often drink alcoholic beverages because water wasn't safe, and alcohol would actually clean the beverage so they could know that it would not be tainted. And Johnny Appleseed was a member of a branch of the Christian church known as the Swedenborgian branch. It kind of played into some of his beliefs, and that was actually one of the reasons why he didn't want to grow eating apples, because eating apples were designed by switching branches from tree to tree to cultivate. He didn't believe in that because of his religion, and he didn't believe in harming trees like that. He was actually a very much an animal lover. He lived his life as a vegetarian, and in fact he tried his hardest to not even step on bugs. And one slightly unusual fact that I did find about Johnny Appleseed, with his religion, he never married, never had any children, and when he was asked about being married, he would explain that he was like already married to a spirit that was already in heaven, that he would be reunited with this theoretical wife once he passed away. Now I must admit, it's pretty surreal to just be standing here at the grave of Johnny Appleseed. That really is amazing. Look at that, they got the little apple there on his grave. Looks like someone has adorned his grave with some plant life. There is a reef made of vines above his grave. And oh yeah, the whole pot on his head thing, I've actually heard conflicting evidence. Some people claim that he did wear a pot on his head, and that it would be an easy way to carry it so he could cook out and make soup at night. Doesn't seem sanitary, but you get it hot, it probably cleans out your head germs. But other people say that there's no evidence, so it actually is kind of up for grabs whether or not he wore a pot on his head. And yes, Johnny Appleseed's grave is a Pokemon gym, and I went ahead and left a Venusaur here because I think Johnny Appleseed would like that Pokemon. This is a very small cemetery. There's only just a handful of graves here. This is Charles. His last name missing, it looks like. And here is Sarah, the wife of Jay Porter. Died October 1932. I think these are apple trees, so they do have these little red berries on them though. I think that's some sort of crab apple. I think it is an apple. A very tiny apple. This apple tree's got some apples that are a little bit bigger. Now, one of the sad things about Johnny Appleseed's legacy is that the federal government chopped down all his trees during Prohibition. Because the trees could be used to make illegal liquor during Prohibition, the federal government went around and chopped down almost every tree that Johnny Appleseed planted. However, there is believed to be one singular tree left that he planted, and that is in Ohio. I may need to track that down someday. Now, this historical plaque here says that he gave this flask to a young local girl, and that they have it at the local history center. I think we should head over there and check out the flask. Now, I don't know the reason, but there's a quote from MASH on the curb here. It says, Major Frank Burns says, "I wish I was home." BJ Honeycutt says, "I wish you was home too, Frank." There's got to be a reason that that's here on the street in Fort Wayne. If anyone knows, leave a comment in the comments section. Wow, I must admit, this is a pretty epic looking history center. Here's the bed of Mad Anthony Wayne, this gentleman right here. Fort Wayne was named after him, and also the town I live in, Waynesville, North Carolina, also named after Mad Anthony Wayne. Here you gotta fill in the counties of northern Indiana, which is difficult because they're all pretty square. Now here are some quilts that are interesting. Underground Railroad code quilts. Flying geese pointed the direction to travel with a solid color band, sort of help slaves escape. The monkey wrench was displayed when an escape was being planned. Apparently Vera Bradley purses are from Fort Wayne. It says Joe Taylor and his Indiana Redbirds, the cowboy auctioneer, because he's a famed auctioneer. And here's one of the women that would perform with him. Yes, look at that. Johnny Appleseed's pocket flask. Says it probably contains cider. And it was given to a local 8-year-old girl on her birthday by Johnny Appleseed. There's a doll from the 1920s that says that it was painted black because they didn't make black dolls back then, and a black family had wanted a black doll. Now this building was the old courthouse, and apparently the jail is still in the basement. And here's some police items, and this is really strange. Bertillon tools. Apparently the local police department used this strange system called the Bertillon system, where they would measure different parts of criminals' heads in a way to, yeah, you can see right there, as a way to identify them later. Now here it says that the last execution was in 1883, where they hung a Sam McDonald for killing someone with a hatchet. And down here, they not only have a piece of the hanging rope, but they have the cigar that the executioner was smoking during the execution. Oh wow, this this handgun was used in 1930s crimes. Wow, just think about the crimes that gun was used to commit. And here's a fake gun made out of shoe polish and soap that a prisoner was caught with in this jail. I guess he was trying to plan an escape. I guess back here is the actual jail area. Ooh, this is spooky. So apparently this is the drunk tank. Oh my god, this man, I just got literally startled by this man. I thought he was a real person. Yeah, you can see these cells, all the scratch marks and graffiti left by prisoners. This is the woman's cell right here. If you notice, the women get like a little bathroom stall, so they have a little privacy. They don't have to poop in front of people like the men do. And if you look there on the wall, you can see written in pink lipstick, it says, "Paul, I love you." Here's some old vintage cameras, but what's interesting is this metal chair here. Apparently this was used to hold people in place so that they get their picture taken, because you had to stand still for a long time. So I guess they locked you in and this held your head. I'd probably need one of these. Appreciate you guys joining me here today in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where we visited Johnny Appleseed's grave, and then we led us here to the historical building to see his personal flask. Always fun when like one adventure leads to another, and there was, you know, unexpected, you know, things in here, some really cool little artifacts. I appreciate you guys watching. If you'd like to see other places I've been, please check the interactive map that's in the description. If you'd like to contribute to the channel, consider buying a t-shirt, consider donating to Patreon. A $3 or more donation will get you postcards once a month. But for now, this one's in the bag.